Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you. Today we're going to be taking a look at a complete system that I've been sent by Aria in the UK, and it's their new, what they're calling the Dominator system. It's based in the Cooler Master 690 Nvidia edition, and I'm really liking the black and green already, so we're off to a good start. But there's a 4.7 GHz overclock and a 2500K. There's a GTX 560 Ti in there. There's a solid state drive, 1TB storage drive. It's all quiet. It's pre-overclocked. There's an awful lot of stuff going on there, and you'd think that it had an awful high price tag as well, really. But it's 1,099 quid, so 1,100 quid, all but £1. But do you get much performance and many kind of like parts for that? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you straight in. We can have a good look around the rig. Then we're going to do some benchmarking and some gameplay. So make sure you keep an eye for the frames per second in the top left hand side of the corner of the screen. Also, it might be a good idea if you really are interested in the frames per second, pause the video now, stick it up into 1080 mode, and then let it buffer so that you can see it nice and get the screen nice and big, and you can also you'll be able to see all the details and everything. And also with the 1080 mode on, you'll be able to hear better, so you'll be able to hear how loud it is. And if this is one of the first videos that you're finding of mine, don't forget to subscribe and comment underneath, because we always like the feedback, and Aria will be looking at all the comments underneath as well, because they're going to be interested to know what all the regular subscribers and the newcomers that find the video think of the rig. But I'm going to bring you straight in now. We'll have a look, but then at the end we'll wrap up the system, and we'll see my thoughts on the performance and everything like that. So yeah, without further ado, let's get my ugly mug off the screen and have a look at this pretty case. Right then, time to have a good look around the case. Quite a lot of you have asked me about the Nvidia special edition Cooler Master cases. Now obviously I've got the 692 Advanced here with the Dominator system from Aria, but I have got the HAF-X as well, which I'll be showing you at a later date. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop you off the tripod and then just give you an up close look. So there's only a few real changes with colour and stuff compared to the normal 690, but I'll give you a good look in. Right then, right at the very front, obviously there's a massive Nvidia logo. The most eye-catching change is these two green stripes, where the normal chrome ones would have been right the way up the top, right the way over the back. You'll see when we power it up later as well that the front fan is a green LED, and the two lights on the top are green LEDs as well. Other than that, the only other changes are the Nvidia logo on the side with a green plexi window. It's actually been done really well as well. And then when you pop the side off, which I'll do quickly while you're here, you can also see that you've got green hard drive, toolless hard drive mounts. But what I'm going to do is stick you back on the tripod, give you a good look inside. I did say tripod, but it's easier if I do it by hand. In the top we've got the 64GB Kingston V100 solid state drive, and then down below for storage there's a 1TB Samsung SpinPoint F3. Power is all taken care of by a Corsair TX 850W power supply. It's non-modular, but when I pop the back open you'll see that everything is kept very tidy. You can see that they have gone to quite a lot of effort in here, but I'll come to that in a second, because I want to do the hardware first. Graphics card wise, I really need to move the lights, but that's a Gigabyte Super Overclock, and it's the 560 titanium. you'll hear in the testing that we do later that that graphics card is incredibly quiet as well. Motherboard is the P67A GD55 from MSI. In the motherboard we've got a i5 Sandy Bridge 2500K at 4.7 GHz pre-overclock straight out of the box. It's being cooled by a Gigabyte Tranquilo. Again, you'll see temperatures and stuff in the next part of the video. Memory, good old Mushkin Blackline. That's an 8GB kit at 1600 MHz, 99924. There is a Sony DVD rewriter in the top. But now we're at the top, something I did want to mention is the amount of effort that they've gone to when building this, because just something simple like having extra SATAs, there's another one here as well, because you may want to upgrade, but if these weren't here and it was all wired just for one, you'd have to go and pull everything around the back to bits. But they have gone to an extreme amount of effort to make this quite user friendly for people that want to upgrade afterwards. Also to keep all the wires and everything tidy as well. Just simple little touches like this. This might not mean, you know, a lot to many of you. The fact that there's zip ties there. When you're reviewing or when you've been building rigs for quite some time, little touches like this do go a long way and show you how much effort it's been put in. Even simple things like all of the cables for the reset and all the LEDs and everything like that are all together nicely. The audio and the USB have all been poked up together. You'll see these cables in a minute. Everything's been really well thought out. Whoever actually built this, I hope he gets paid well. I'm probably going to get shot about that from Aria, but I hope he does. So he has done a really good job. Even just simple stuff like to keep the cables tidy, he's wrapped it around the fans. Now, a lot of us do this without a second thought, but you'd be amazed how many systems like this I've seen where this would have been just a big massive cable all clipped up, sort of like up here or something. Just didn't look very nice. But when you look at that system, you stand back, it's very tidy. It looks like someone spent a lot of time and effort on it. But the critical one really to see how much time and effort has gone in is to have a look round the back. So I'm going to switch the camera off quickly and turn the case round. Now, one thing that we need to remember straight away is this is a non-modular power supply. So all the cables for the entire rig come out the power supply. You can't remove them. You've just got to try and make them look tidy. Now, it's obviously not the tidiest looking back of a case that you're ever going to see, but you can see. Now, I'm just going to show you where things have been clipped up, just to show you how much effort has gone in to trying to make this look a lot tidier. Classic Molex clip up down the side that I've mentioned this in videos in the past. The fact that the HD audio and the USB has been run all around the houses to make sure it's nice and tight, and we saw how tidy this was on the other side that come up. This comes up literally just behind the power supply, and that's actually a clip to hold the power supply down. It's not really a cable rounding hole. That's all in there nice and tidy. All of the wires for the, like I said, the power switch, reset switch, the LEDs at the front and everything, they've actually gone to the point where these big loops, because they're not all the same length, but so that they look tidier on the other side. Now, like I said, it's only small things and a lot of people wouldn't really notice, but it gets big props from me. There's extra SATA points down here as well. They're already in ready, so you can drop extra hard drives in should you wish. They've also routed extra Molexes to the front. Obviously some of the Molexes are for the the LED fan and everything at the front. But there's lots of small little features. You really could buy this and you really wouldn't have to mess about with the wiring too much. Down the bottom we've already got the PCI Express cables if you wanted to fit an extra graphics card in. Like I said, it's not the tidiest rig in the world, but because that's a non-modular power supply, it could be so much worse. There's a lot of work gone into just doing that. I'd say if you were building your own rig, just putting this together, you'd probably end up spending a good 3 or 4 hours just clipping everything up, doing everything properly, rerouting everything. If you've not done it before, you may even spend even longer. So this is definitely something to bear in mind if you're thinking about building a pre-built rig. Could save you an immense amount of time. But anyway, that's enough time with us just spent looking at cables. I think it's time now to actually bench this and get some scores and see how good it is. Right then guys, there's nothing better to test the stability of a rig than folding at home. So I've currently got CPU and GPU folding. Now, maximum core temps, if you have a look at high, you can see that the hottest core is 66 degrees. And the GPU hasn't gone above 55. Now that's with everything at 100%. CPU, GPU, everything's flat taps. You can see the overclock here, 1.392 volt in CPU Z, running 4.7 GHz, 47 multi. Just sliding down, just to show you the memory is running 1600, 2 times 800, 1600, 999, 24. And that is completely folding at home stable. And to prove it, if I go to view stats and then all clients, you can see that I have actually been doing a fair bit of folding on this. And something I do want to stress down here, Team 98860, you can be expecting a video on that very soon. But yeah, it's completely folding at home stable, so the overclock is rock solid, the temps are great. Let's get on with some full-on benchmarking. Right then guys, this is the 3D Mark Vantage P-score. As you can see, this is 24,303 for an overall score, with 19,947 on the GPU, that's with the stock 560 card, and the CPU score is 70,488, obviously that's high because of physics benefits. Also, that's, as I said, with a stock GPU and the 4.7 GHz overclock that was set by Aria for the system. We slide down, we can see the score for 3D Mark 11 P score, 4,742. What I'm going to do quickly is just pan out for you, get the camera kind of set up in the middle, and I'm going to open Alien vs Predator straight away, and we'll run AVP, and then we'll do some CPU and gaming benches for you as well. You can see the frames per second up in this top left hand corner. If I pan back out, show you the footage on the screen. I have left the audio off as always because I've got the system set up there with the door off so that you can hear. But what I will do Let's pop you off quickly. And we'll go in. Don't forget this is being used, it's being stressed as we speak. The graphics card is very quiet because where it's the Gigabyte Super Overclock. Those fans are very quiet. CPU cooler is doing a very good job. It's not massively silent, but as we've seen the temps already, it's not quiet at all. It's not quiet at all. I do apologise. It's not loud at all. When you have the door on, you can hardly really hear it at all. The only time that I've actually heard noise from the system at all was when I was folding on it, and obviously folding really stresses the system really hard. It was squealing just a little bit, but very, very quiet. If you had audio on, you wouldn't hear it at all. Now, what I'm going to do is get another benchmark set up. We'll run a Far Cry benchmark quickly. Okay, so we're all set up now for Far Cry. We're doing the long range test. Frames per second up in the top left hand corner there. Just going to let this run through so that you can see the range of the frames per second available. After we've done this, we'll do some live gameplay in Crysis Warhead and Metro 2033, as we always do. Just in case you can't see, I'll show you the frames per second up there at the moment. As you can see, there's a lot going on the screen at this moment in time. Oh, I love my phone when I'm doing this. It's quite a long benchmark, this one, but it does really stress the system. As you can see, the frames per second are up and down all over the place, so you get a wide range of options, all the type of things that you're going to experience throughout your games, really. Because obviously it's not always the same thing in your games. You're going to have real action-packed sequences where the frames per second are going to drop on the floor. So this is just a really good way of seeing what it could be like. I'm going to cut this one off now, and then we'll move on to some full-on live gameplay with me, Tiny Tom Logan, at the helm, so get ready for a chuckle. Anyway, we'll call this one it now, and we'll move on to the games. Right then guys, we're on to the same old as ever part of Metro that we always play. I like to play the same bit because then you can go back and compare all my other videos. Frames per second at the moment, 34, 35, dipping down to 31. Went down to 29 then, but that's normal. turn one of the studio lights off quickly, see if we can make it any better for you to see. How did I miss in there? This is the one that never lets you win. Right, so that's the end of the Metro run. Let's move on to some Crysis. Right then guys, we're playing Crysis Warhead. I've got it on enthusiast settings with 8 times AA. The card does support up to 16 times, but in the sake of decent frame rates, it does just dip below 30 with 16 times. As you can see, I'm not the best Crysis player, but then again, I don't pretend that I am. What I'm going to do is really stress the I could have sworn I had some. Right, what we'll do. So I'll run over here quickly. What I want to do is make some big explosions so we can really stress the frames per second. Ready? Did go down to mid-20s there, but we were staring right at some huge explosions. I am popular today. Again, I'm just trying to destroy everything so that we can really test everything out. Only problem is now we've got no vehicles left. Nothing else left for me to try and kill, or explode I should say. No! I was aiming for the back of the car before you asked. Yes, I know loads of you are going to be saying, why are you not running around? You should be running around so they can't get... Yes, I know. Yeah, we got it in the end. Right, we've had plenty of bad Crysis gameplay, so let's get this video wrapped up. Right then, let's get this wrapped up. I've actually recorded this end bit now several times, so I will try and explain it in the best way that I can. Now, I don't want the review to come across or my opinions to come across like an advert. It's not the way it's meant to be. But I am really happy with the rig, and also I'm a regular on the Aria forums as well, and I've always been very impressed with the way that they deal with customers after sales and everything like that. And that's literally just my own personal opinion, looking from the outside in. They're also a pleasure to deal with as well professionally, and it's something that I've always had a bugbear with several other places around and about the UK, that they don't necessarily treat their customers very well, or their communication skills with the review sites has been shocking. And I'm not going to start naming names or stuff like that, but never had any issues with Aria or experienced anyone having any issues that haven't been resolved. So that's one of the reasons why I was quite happy to take a look at the rig, and I really did. I wanted to try and find something wrong with it, just so it didn't sound, but there's nothing really at all that I could find. The build quality is absolutely brilliant, to the point where I would be happy to have built this myself, and that's kind of a tall order, and I've never ever said that about a retailer rig before. I've been at several retailers seeing systems being built and really not been impressed at all. The people that were building them were not really into their, what they were doing. They were just building. This looks like it's been built by someone that actually cares what they were doing. I honestly think the bloke that built this builds rigs like he's building his own computer, which is the way it should be. And it's quite fresh for me to be able to come across something like this and go, not be able to find a point where I would have clipped something up there or not clipped something up there. Sorry, I've got a bit of a dry throat, but everything is very well put together, well thought out, but also to make things easier for you in the future, like the fact with the SATA cables at the back and the Molexes at the front and down the side. There's lots of small little features like that, and all the zip clips everywhere that just make it, looking at it, make it a lot better and make it almost like more personalised as well. Now, as I was saying about the after sales earlier on, because I am a regular on the Aria forums, I do see people, because at the end of the day stuff does go wrong, and that's just the way it is. But Aria are quite open about it, and it's all public on the forums as well, so you can go on there and see when people have problems. You can see stuff getting resolved, them going through the customers, the after sales, and then stuff getting fixed for whatever reason that it is. So I'd be quite happy to recommend this. So in a way that if, lo and behold, something did go wrong, they will look after you afterwards as well. Now, talking about kind of afterwards, you're using it, you're liking it, say for argument's sake, I'm going to have another drink. Say, for argument's sake, further down the line, you want to upgrade the graphics or something. This system is perfect or right for that kind of thing. You could add a second 560 in if you wanted. All the cables already around the back of the case, you just got to pop them through, connect up to your graphics card, job's done. it would be perfect for a 570 or a 580 as well if you wanted. You wouldn't get any issues with anything like that further down the line should you want to change it. But for everything else, I mean, the like the overclock and the G-lid on the Sandy, the reason why I folded with it really was because I wanted to try and make it too hot, and I literally left it doing folding at home for a couple of 3 days. Just, yeah, go on, warm it up. Left it in a small room with, with not necessarily much like ventilation or anything like that, and it didn't get hot at all, so it's perfectly capable. But by using folding at home, that just it confirms the fact that overclock is 100% stable. And I did kind of tweak the overclock as well, trying to like knock the volts down a little bit to see whether they kind of like over volted it to make sure that it was 100% stable. And to be perfectly frank, it is at a kind of sweet point with it, to the point where if you knock it down a couple of notches on the voltage, it does then make the folding at home unstable. So that they're not just using a USB stick, do that and job done situation. But yeah, I'm trying to get as much information as I can over with the end of this video without it trying to sound, like I said before, about not wanting it to come across as too much of an advert. But it's just about giving you all the kind of answers to the questions that you're going to be able to need. Performance wise, as you've seen, it actually walks away performance wise. This actually outbenches my bench rig with the 950 in it. And it's cool, calm, collected and quite cheap as well. My bench rig's worth an awful lot more than this and actually performs worse, which shows you that the 2500K is a brilliant gaming processor. To be perfectly frank, I don't want to keep going over and over and over stuff like this, but this is a well-built, great performing system at a very, very good price. And to be perfectly frank, I'm going to give it a gold award because of the build quality. Because the build quality and the attention to detail with this is brilliant. Not being funny, I know I'm an anal bastard when it comes to picking rigs apart. And for me to not really find anything majorly wrong means they are really doing a good job. And I don't mind admitting the fact that I can be a bit harsh. So they definitely deserve a gold award for the build quality. Now the 560 is a very good graphics card at this price point for an entire rig. If it had a 570 and it had been a little bit more, I probably would have given it a performance award as well. But I completely understand why they've gone for that £1,100 price point, because the 560 is an amazing graphics card for a couple of £100. So at the end of the day, it kind of swings and roundabouts. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this at all. It's a brilliant system, and that graphics card, also what I need to say is it's not overclocked. If you get this home, get in Afterburner, MSI Afterburner, or use the Gigabyte overclocking utility, overclock that graphics card, because it will go, you'll get a wicked overclock and your scores will ravage as well. It's brilliant. But I don't want to drag this out any longer than this, because it's been an enormous video already, and it's going to take a month of Sundays to upload to YouTube. But to be perfectly frank, big thumbs up for this one. I'm quite looking forward to seeing and doing more stuff like this in the future, and you can be looking forward to more stuff like this as well. We've got some custom builds and stuff coming up from me. So yeah, if you're actually watching this for the fun of it, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're actually looking at this because you're thinking about buying it, then to be perfectly frank, I wouldn't really worry about it, I'd grab it. But if you've got any questions, ask underneath, or you can find me on Overclock 3D, all the Aria forums. Come to me with any questions and I'll do my best to answer them for you. But for now at least, my brain is completely fried. So I apologise if I've missed anything, but this is Tiny Tom Logan with another video for you. Out.